situation unfolding in South St. Louis and in other areas like Ferguson, the epicenter since a black 18-year-old teen who, from all indications, looked like a pretty good guy, got shot, and the police are saying that he basically attacked him in the police car and resisted. I mean, the FBI shot one of the Boston bombing suspect's friends in the back of the head and admitted he didn't resist and didn't have a weapon. So a precedent, it appears, could be getting set, like we saw with the famous BART shooting of Oscar Grant, where this happens. Or the crowd may be lying, and at the same time, he could have assaulted the officer and then tried to get the gun like they're saying. We don't know the truth. But what I know is it's wrong to run around and burn down grocery stores and mini marts, gas stations, and people's houses. And a bunch of criminals with their pants hanging down around their ankles, you know, with their butts hanging out, running around doing this. And it's a microcosm of what will happen in this country if there's a bigger war, a depression. We've got millions of illegals pouring in. There's a depression in many areas of the country. We had troops a few years ago rolling around East St. Louis, preparing for civil unrest. So they see this as a major hotspot. We have a volunteer, was actually on the fire department, a firefighter who owns a gun shop. He's Adam Weinstein. He owns County Guns, countyguns.com. On Facebook, it's County Guns. And he joins us because, and we'll show some of these images of the tattoo parlor, the gun shop, and others in the shopping center that is right next door to businesses that were burned basically on both sides. But the looters didn't go over there where folks had AR-15s. So he joins us now. Now, he's on call right now with the fire department, and there are fires and things. There was more rioting last night, so he may have to go at any time. The police have been trying to keep the media out, which is not a good sign. There's a lot going on. I've seen members of the city council having guns aimed at them by police for walking around with cameras. So I think that's, again, too big a show of force by police. But I guess their view is, you know, scare the public so the looting stops. Adam, thank you for coming on with us. I appreciate you joining us.
How you doing?
Good. Break down what you've witnessed the last 3 days, 4 days, and give us the inside scoop on the fact that you guys were armed outside your businesses.
Well, the first night, which I guess was that would be Sunday, we were all basically at home listening to the radio and the television and hearing things progress after the young man was shot and killed. And we could tell that the looting and the crowd was heading up West Florissant towards where our business was. So we all just kind of decided to head up there and basically take a stand and let them know that that wasn't going to be tolerated at the strip mall where our business is located.
Oh, by the way, let me just correct things. It's Adam Weinstein. I apologize for getting your name wrong, Adam. Describe the town. Describe the relations. I mean, start at the beginning for us. I mean, I want to give you the floor to break down as an eyewitness to what has really been going on in 3 days of rioting in Ferguson, Missouri, outside St. Louis. It's now obviously spread to other areas of South St. Louis last night. What have you been witnessing?
It was mainly the Sunday night where most of it happened, and it was just crowds of people, angry people that felt it necessary to destroy their own neighborhood, basically. They broke into and burned a Quick Trip, several small businesses, a shoe stores, tire and wheel place that had been in business for many years, a family-owned business. They smashed out the front windows and proceeded to load all of their merchandise into vehicles and drive off. They've hit clothing stores, shoe stores, just anything, you know, opportunist kind of action. Over the next day after that, things calmed down as far as the looting and any violence. Police were kind of staging the first day and more reacting to what was going on, where the second day they were prepared and ready, and I believe that they try to control it as as much as they could. They did a pretty good job at showing restraint, trying not to escalate things. And the main night that we were up there, about 4 stores up from ours, there's a Dollar General, and witnessed a large group of people, probably 50 or more people, smash out the front windows and start to loot. We stayed where we were at. We called the police. Obviously, they were quite busy that night. Took them a while to show up. By the time they did show up, the crowd had dispersed. They had left the scene after that. The crowd returned, and a few of them broke in again and continued to loot the place. After a little while, the entire crowd started moving down the strip mall towards us. Next door to our business, there is a beauty supply that sells the hair weave and other pretty high-end stuff. And then on the other side, we have a wireless store, which seems to be popular for looting, I guess, because the expensive telephones and whatnot. As they proceeded down the strip mall, they saw us and quickly changed their minds and left. We also posted up there last night just in case, because some of the police officers that we know warned us that it could possibly be worse. And last night was very uneventful. We actually left about 11 p.m. There was absolutely no activity whatsoever in our area. They had the police did a very good job of containing it down, mainly into Ferguson, just trying to control the crowds. And I believe the victim's family also had asked that they stopped all of the unnecessary violence and looting, to respectfully honor the kid.
Again, we're joined by Adam Weinstein, who is a firefighter, but he also owns a gun shop, County Guns, countyguns.com, County Guns on Facebook, and he is a witness to this. And local news was able to photograph the fact that during the looting and rioting, his stores were right beside where this happened. But it was also a tattoo parlor, I'm told, that's close to you in the same strip mall.
Our business the gun shop is run out of the lobby of the tattoo parlor. My business partner owns the tattoo shop, and we decided to split the business in half, basically to eliminate any overhead for the gun shop.
Well, Adam, let's expand.
We share a location.
Sure. Look, I'm here in Austin, Texas, and we've seen police before shoot people in cold blood on accident or on purpose and then cover it up. But at the same time, we see a lot of departments that don't do that. I don't know enough about the Ferguson police to be able to give an accurate breakdown. So give us, as a citizen, your take on what's really happening and what you've seen unfold. I mean, here's an example. Here's CBS. This is just out. Police say they won't release name of officer who killed Michael Brown. And I guess their argument would be so there's no retaliation. But at the same time, since when do we have secret police? I mean, I think we should learn the name. Give us your take on the police department in general.
The interactions I've had with them, of course, I may even be a little biased just because I interact with them, through the fire department and occasionally on a personal level. They all seem to be pretty professional to me. I know that they've had a troubled relationship with their citizens, but and I believe, I don't know any of the details of the story, so I can't speculate on that, but I can understand them not releasing it for his safety and also maybe just so they can conclude their investigation before they start putting anybody's names out there.
I've been asking the questions here. Any key points you'd like to relay to folks?
It's not as bad as it's being portrayed in the media. I mean, there was one main evening of pretty unruly behavior and a lot of looting and a lot of property damage. And the next day, there were some isolated incidents outside of the area that they attributed to the situation. But for the most part, after last night, in the evening, after the press conferences with the family and whatnot, things seem pretty calm. I mean, you still have large groups of people out there protesting and, standing their ground. But as far as, the violence and the looting, it's nothing like being portrayed on some of the news stations.
But since the mother went public and said, please stop the violence, do you think that helped?
believe it did. It seemed to, I mean, unless it's a coincidence, it kind of coincided with the next day where the police were expecting another wave. It pretty much didn't happen. I mean, there was, like I said, some isolated incidents, but for the most part,
Sure.
it was mainly peaceful protesting, which is, how it should be.
Adam Weinstein is our guest, and I wanted to ask you specifically, the media reported that you guys stood out front the business with your AR-15s and that the looters went on by. I mean, is it accurate to say, kind of like the Koreans and the famous L.A. riots, that the fact that you were there and armed may have stopped looting of your business?
I truly believe that if we had not been out there, whether armed or not armed, I personally believe that is a deterrent. But I believe that if we hadn't been out there, they would have looted and destroyed that entire strip mall where there's probably a dozen businesses, and not one of them were touched except for the Dollar General, which had to be detached from the strip mall.
Well, the good news is the police didn't try to stop you from defending your business. In a lot of Democrat-controlled areas, they do that because the big crime in a socialist system is defending yourself, not committing crimes, because everybody that has a business is a greedy person unless you're Nancy Pelosi and have $1 billion, and you're not allowed to defend yourself. From the water table to our soils to the atmosphere itself, our world is becoming more and more toxic each and every day. But it's not just the air outside that's toxic. Indoor air has been shown to have 2 to 5 times higher concentrations of pollutants than even outdoor air. And most Americans spend 90% of their time inside using toxic chemicals within their homes. There are more than 42 million smokers in the United States. Well over 1,000 types of mold and mildew linked to numerous conditions. And don't forget the fact that 6 million Americans live with pets they're allergic to as well. When I began to research these statistics, it was clear to me it was time to start cleansing my lungs in order to combat the toxic environment that we cannot escape, but that we can fight back against. Made with organic and wild cultivated herbs and manufactured in the USA, the new InfoWars Life Lung Cleanse is here in a convenient spray bottle that can be brought with you throughout any toxic environment. Now available exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139.
Hey, now you can watch The Alex Jones Show live as it happens at Infowars.com/show.
Final segment with Adam Weinstein. He is the member of the fire department there in the town of Ferguson outside St. Louis that saw the last 3 days of rioting, the worst being Sunday night. Now, since the mother of the 18-year-old black man, the victim, regardless, he is a victim of this terrible circumstance and possibly being murdered by the police. Well, we're not sure. Has called for calm. That's a good thing. Certainly a bunch of criminals running around burning things, their own neighborhood. Anybody that has a business only hurts the town itself. But regardless, Adam and his friends stood up against the looters and clearly frustrated folks that did loot other buildings in the area that did not have armed guards outside of them. So this is a great example of what the police should do, like Katrina, instead of the feds coming in and not letting people stay in their shops or homes with firearms to protect them, even when they were high and dry. They came in and took their guns, and then looters came along later and stole everything they had. But in the case of L.A. or the case of Ferguson and St. Louis, the police did not try to keep the folks from being armed. Did you have a chance to talk to the police during this or after it, Adam?
Yeah, I wanted to mention to you, also correct you. I'm not a member of the Ferguson Fire Department. I am a St. Louis County firefighter.
Okay, just to be clear.
Also, the police actually came by on several occasions and thanked us, which surprised me. I was kind of expecting them to possibly run us off just for their own safety concerns, but they were very pleased to see us, and a few of them mentioned that they wish some more business owners would have done the same thing. There would have been a lot less damage, and that they were they were glad to see that we were being respectful and professional and not, abusing our right to bear arms.
So they liked the fact that you were professional in bearing your arms, and obviously, I guess by professional, did you get taunted or anything?
No, not at all. Like I said, as soon as they saw us, they went the other way. Our shop has a reputation in that area for, we don't mess around because of the area we're in. We have a lot of different people in the area, and some of the ones who tend to misbehave in that shopping center know that that stuff isn't really tolerated by myself or my business partner or the other owner of the tattoo shop.
So this is a high crime area.
I would say medium, not necessarily high, but there's a neighborhood behind our location that has its problems. We've had, a few minor incidents over the last few years, and it's typically the kids in that neighborhood.
What does your gut tell you is behind all this?
I think it's more of I believe that the citizens are just angry with the police department, whether justified or not. I think it's more of a citizens versus law enforcement thing than any race issue.
Sure.
They haven't even released the officer's name, whether he's African American or white or Hispanic. Nobody even knows. So Well,
I'm guessing he's white because or Hispanic, because if he was black, I think they would have released that.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Over the next few weeks or days as they progress with their investigation, I'm sure the information will come out. I'm hoping and counting on it being truthful.
Well, I mean, bottom line, burning down shoe stores and mini marts and businesses is only going to make people move out of the area and hurt the community. I just don't get this default action. After Trayvon Martin, we saw a raft of black on white assaults of old people, knockout games that even killed some folks. And I just don't understand. Like, if a black person killed a member of my family, I wouldn't go out and randomly find a black person to kill. And I just think it's the Al Sharpton, MSNBC mentality that is selling this idea. But I'm glad to hear from your perspective it's more of just an anti-police than an anti-race issue. I'm just so sick of it personally.
I think it directly relates to just the attitude of youth today, that they're so quick to use violence over anything else, and whether white, black, or Hispanic, it just seems to be the norm nowadays, where kids just, right off the bat, they go to violence. And it's one of the biggest problems that I see, every day, just even in my job, is it's young kids, high school age and below, that are doing things that are just... Yeah,
it's the breakup of the family. Adam Weinstein, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, I'm Shane Steiner. A lot of you have been following my progress using Super Male Vitality. The last 19 weeks has been an incredible experience. I was feeling a little down and lethargic during the holidays, and none of the supplements that I was taking were doing any good. That's when my longtime friend from high school, Alex Jones, introduced me to Super Male Vitality. I was a little skeptical at first. Not only would I have the energy to work out and go to the gym, but it was actually the changes were happening to my body a lot more rapidly. My whole mood, my libido, everything had completely changed. The concentrated organic herbs, they stimulate your natural systems to produce the natural hormones that you need. I just really wanted to bulk up and hit it hard, and I went in for about the first 5 weeks and was lifting heavy weight and just really hitting it hard, and I gained 20 pounds of muscle immediately. Since that, I've decided I was going to lose some weight and slim down. I just changed up my workout a little bit, and 35 pounds came off. Folks, this is not a joke. This is not a gimmick, it's real. Super Male Vitality, available at InfoWarsLife.com.